140 degrees Fahrenheit if left alone in less than 2 hours. Keep in mind, pets maintain a higher body temperature than humans, so they are even at a higher risk of heat stroke and death. Here are some tips. Never leave your child or pet unattended in a vehicle. Be mindful of the vehicle's temperature. After an hour, temperature inside a vehicle can be as much higher as 43 degrees higher than it is on the outside. Make it a habit to always check your back seat. In Texas, it is an offense punishable by a fine of $500 leaving a child unattended in a vehicle. This offense is classified as neglected supervision, so that means CPS will be notified and they will conduct an investigation as well. If you see a child left alone in a vehicle, call 911 immediately. Stay by that car, because you may have to take action to save a life. Leaving a child or pet in a car can be deadly. It is important never to leave someone unattended in a car. It's not only our responsibility here, who's standing here before you, but it's your responsibility as well. Thank you, and may God bless.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you for that valuable information. Another department play an important role in managing any kind of emergency is our EMS. Fort Bend County got a vibrant EMS staff and department, and I wanted to invite our EMS chief, Mr. Waite, to come forward and give our residents some tips, please.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning. This time of year, every time you hear about the oppressive heat outside, you hear about heat stroke and heat exhaustion. Heat stroke and heat exhaustion are medical emergencies. People suffering from heat exhaustion, you will see them with symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, excessive sweating, weakness, dizziness, the inability to move, i.e. the word exhaustion. And they need rehydration, they need rapid cooling, they need to be moved into a cooler environment as soon as they can. Heat stroke, like you just heard the sheriff talk about, is an incredibly severe medical emergency. It's an internal body temperature of 104 or greater. You hear a lot of times, oh, somebody's having heat stroke, they won't be sweating anymore. That may not be the case. It depends on how fast that heat stroke has come on. But if they have a high degree temperature, if they feel hot to the touch, and the other key sign with heat stroke is a decreased level of consciousness, they don't know where they are, they can't follow simple directions, or they are completely unconscious. That is a true medical emergency. That needs 911 called, that needs rapid cooling. If you have a garden hose, if you have a cooler with ice water in it, use that on them to rapidly cool them off. We've got to get those temperatures down before we create lifelong brain damage from that increased heat. In both of those situations, if you encounter somebody that is weak and they can't move, they've been outside for even a short period of time doing physical activity, or if they're unconscious outside after doing physical activity, call 911. 911 will direct you what to do. They'll direct you to try to get them into an area that's cooler, even if it's just the shade, and to work on trying to get them cooled before the ambulance gets there. This time of year also, it's important to be checking on our neighbors. You heard Judge George say that. You're going to hear some other folks talk about that as well, and I can't stress that enough. Folks around you that may be elderly or have chronic medical conditions that you know of, frequent checking in with them, because those folks are more susceptible to the heat than others can be. And so check in on them regularly. Make sure that you know how they're doing. Make sure that they have a cool environment within their house. And if not, use the resources that you're going to hear about here today to get them into an environment that is more hospitable to their needs. The last thing I want to touch on is water safety. This time of the year, we can't wait to get into the pool. And with that comes a lot of fun and a lot of great memories built as families and friends and communities around community pools. But with that also, unfortunately, comes danger. And that danger is drownings or near drownings. So far this year in Fort Bend County, we've had 11 drownings or near drownings since the season has started. This is a huge problem. We cannot leave, especially children, but really anybody unattended around water. And story after story in my career in EMS is, I was just gone for a second. I was just gone for a second. What do we do if somebody's in the water? We get them out of the water. We get them out, we can reach them with something, we can throw something to them if they're awake. We get them out of the water. If they're not conscious, we start CPR. If you don't know CPR, call 911. They will teach you CPR that you can do until the ambulance arrives. These are critical life-saving measures. If you go to your community pool and you can't see the drains at the bottom of that pool, you need to call Fort Bend County's Environmental Health so they can come out and get that pool in proper swimming condition. Think about it. If you can't see the drains on the bottom of the pool, you can't see somebody that's on the bottom of the pool that needs assistance. So take those pieces of advice. We'd like everybody to have a great summer. It appears this summer we're going to have a great summer early in the morning or later in the evening, and avoid those high temperature days. Stay hydrated, and if you need help, don't hesitate to call 911.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. And of course, another person helped me very closely in managing any emergencies in Fort Bend County. That is Fort Bend County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management Manager Greg Babs.
Morning. Again, Greg Babs, Fort Bend County Homeland Security Emergency Management Coordinator. Thank you, Judge. Thank you for everyone being here today. Thank you for the team of all departments in the county that have devoted themselves to being prepared, and then not only being prepared for the county, but being prepared for all of our citizens out there. And then thank you, Judge, and his team for putting this press conference together so that we can get this word out. Again, if you don't live, or if you haven't lived in Texas and you're just new to here, it's hot. Texans will tell you it's just warming up. But I think that's not true. It's a little hotter than normal even for Texans right now. Tomorrow is supposed to be a heat index of 115. If you don't know what a heat index is, it's a combined total of your humidity and then total heat that is calculated together to build that heat index. Please be very wary and watch the National Weather Service forecast for heat index. Watch for heat advisories. If you want to know how to find these, you can go onto Fort Bend County's main page, and we put on a tab on there for heat index. And you can click on that heat index. That's going to tell you exactly what the temperature and what the weather is for this heat spell that's on top of us right now and on top of Southeast Texas. And then it's going to tell you also importance of cooling centers. These cooling centers we've pushed out, and we're going to continue to push out throughout Fort Bend County for those personnel that need to just get a break from the heat. And so follow us on our fbcoem.org, and then also the county page, Fort Bend County page, and they will show you where these cooling centers are located each day. If you're not watching, you should be watching your grid when it comes to electrical. We all need to be mindful of electricity right now, and as we're moving into this ERCOT grid, we're watching inside the Emergency Operations Center. If we see those going into warning limits and where there could be possible power outages throughout Fort Bend County, we're ready within this county to stand up more cooling centers for those that lose power and don't have the capability to run their air conditionings. And we'll keep that information flowing if that happens. So please, again, follow us on fbcoem.org. On our webpage, you can also go to the bottom of that, because we all know social media is the thing now, right? So we also post this on all of our Facebook, all of our Instagrams, all of our LinkedIns, and all of our Twitters. So all those links are on our page. Click on those links, follow us. And then the most important thing is, as we're in a hurricane season, you got to watch out for these storms that are brewing up. It's an El Nino year. We're watching these every day in the Emergency Operations Center, to include heat. But if you want to get notified that there is a possible threat within Fort Bend County, you can sign up for our alerting system. That alerting system is on our webpage, or you can text 888-777 and type in the text box FBC Alert, all capitals, all one word. That's going to take you to the site, and you can register there. For any more information when it comes to heat, please follow everything that everyone is talking about here. This is serious. I know it's hot in Texas, but we still need to be prepared. We still need to plan. And if you have any concerns whatsoever, don't hesitate to call our office. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. And another person I will be calling upon, who is a leader, who is leading, including our EMS, Health and Human Services Director, Dr. Gail Lowe. Doctor?
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Gail Lowe, Health and Human Services Director. With summer in full swing, it is crucial to prioritize your health and take necessary precautions, as Chief Waite has already mentioned, to stay safe in the heat. Heat exhaustion and heat stroke are serious concerns, as we've already heard about, so be sure to stay hydrated. I want to reiterate that. Stay hydrated, drink plenty of water throughout the day. Avoid prolonged exposure in the sun and seek shade and wear protective clothing. That's long sleeves, breathable fabrics, along with hats and sunglasses. Outdoor workers are also strongly encouraged to wear lightweight clothing, take breaks, as well as use protective sunscreen and hats to avoid the UV rays. Be mindful of vulnerable populations. We can't stress this enough. I think it was said in the beginning and we'll continue to reiterate it. Vulnerable populations include the elderly, children, and those with chronic medical conditions, because these categories of people are more likely to have heat-related illness and be more susceptible to those. Remember that certain medications even, so antihistamines, which many of us take in Texas, antihistamines as well as diuretics increase your sensitivity to heat. So speak to your medical providers to offer, so that they might offer you any potential information concerning those risks. Pools and other water-related activities do offer a refreshing way to beat the heat. We know that everybody doesn't have pool, but we go to the lake, we go to the river, we go to lots of places to enjoy water. But during the summer, remember that you should always be mindful of having someone with you, to have a buddy with you, to recognize that in pools, especially in local public pools, that it's important to shower before you enter into a pool. This decreases the risk of transmitting any type of diseases. So if anyone has gastrointestinal illnesses or open wounds, consider not swimming that day and wait till those symptoms resolve. Make sure that you are mindful that if you're in water, that you if you develop diarrhea, vomiting, or skin rashes, that those need to be reported to your local health authorities to investigate and investigate any potential outbreaks. Clean and disinfect pools regularly, and be aware of local pool and spa regulations, which you'll hear about a little bit later. Educate yourself and your family about the signs of drowning, and Chief Wade gave you some significant ones. But in particular, be mindful that drowning is not always dramatic like we may see on television. It can often be very silent. So make sure that when you're monitoring someone else, look for signs of struggle or look for signs of distress. Children should always be supervised when they're in or around water. Ensure that there are lifeguards present or that there is an adult supervising the children. And ensure that life jackets are present, whether you're an adult or a child. Make sure you have a life jacket on if you're not an adequate swimmer. Make sure also that we are preventing children from accessing pools unsupervised by having self-latching gates and self-closing gates. And finally, Fort Bend County Health and Human Services works daily to prevent and promote and protect the health and well-being of our citizens. So follow us on social media at Fort Bend Health on all platforms for more health and safety information on heat safety, water safety, and drowning prevention. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. And at this time, I will invite our Environmental Health Manager, Michael Schaefer. Michael?
So good morning. As mentioned before, people tend to gravitate towards pools. So I'm pleased to be here today to announce that the county recently passed regulations to ensure safety at public pools, spas, and interactive water features. So to you, that means splash pads. With summer activities comes summer protection, which includes knowing the locations that provide those recreational activities are keeping your health and safety in mind, which is what we will begin to monitor. Also, if there's any doubt that there is a location you feel is not safe for you, your family member, your friends, please reach out to us so that we can investigate that matter. And remember that pool-related illnesses, injuries, and drownings are preventable. So always keep that in mind while you enjoy the summer season. Also, with the hot summer months and rain coming, that's a good combination that invites mosquitoes to come out and enjoy the summer weather just as we do. Okay? Please be sure to cover up, use mosquito spray, and keep those little guys from biting you. Take a moment and take a look around your home. This is important. Get rid of what they like to breed and live in. Get rid of those buckets, cans, tires, unused bird baths, and the like. Also, I would encourage pool homeowners to really take care of their pools and maintain them properly. It takes one pool in a community to not maintain it properly to produce up to 30,000 mosquitoes every day in a 1 mile radius. So imagine a community with one pool in it for 1 mile radius, 30,000 mosquitoes a day. Remember, mosquitoes can carry disease that we don't want to get or spread, and each of you plays a big part to prevent it. So enjoy your summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. And of course, we heard before also, we are talking about human beings, our children, our vulnerable, our elderly, but of course we care about our pets. And it is important. After we came into office, we started a Fort Bend County Animal Cruelty Task Force, and we wanted to send that clear message to people. Don't leave them outside unattended, because this is hard, people. And so we wanted to also let those who are watching, we want to let you know that we are not going to tolerate if you ignore your pet. And if you don't want them, turn it back to Fort Bend County Animal Services Department. But if you keep them, please make sure you're treating them also as a living animal. And so at this time, we have our animal cruelty officer, Marcus Guerdo. Please come forward, sir. Give us some tips.
Good morning. During these scorching summer days, it's vital to protect our furry friends and be responsible pet owners. Remember, shade, water, and limited exercise during early mornings or late evenings are key to their well-being. Make sure your animals have fresh and clean water at all times. Hydration is a must. Watch for signs of heat stroke, such as excessive panting, drooling, vomiting, and weakness. Seek immediate vet care if you suspect your pet is suffering from heat-related illness. Keep their paws off scorching surfaces. If it's too hot for your hand, it's too hot for their paws. Use the grass instead. Provide your animals with access to well-ventilated areas. Use fans or air conditioning if available. Consider using cooling mats or damp towels for them to lie on. Be a responsible neighbor and keep an eye out for pets left outdoors without proper shelter or water. Report any concerns to Fort Bend County Animal Services to ensure their well-being during hot weather. Additionally, our animal shelter is currently over capacity, and we need your support to help save lives. Consider fostering or adopting a furry friend, providing them with a safe haven during these scorching days. You can also make a difference by participating in our Doggy Day Out program, where you can have take an animal out for a fun day, keeping them cool and giving them a break from the shelter environment. Together, we can give these animals a chance to thrive in a loving, cool environment. Join us and be a hero for our shelter pets. Thank you.
Thank you, officer. At this time, as you all know, Fort Bend County also invests in a number of parks. And of course, I believe it is quality of life for our citizens. I wanted to invite one of our park director, Gwendolyn Clements, to come forward and talk about some of the good stuff you're doing with the parks and safety measures we need to take.
Thank you, Judge. I'm Gwendolyn Clemens. I'm actually the Special Projects Manager for the Parks Department. As you know, this is the summer and our recreational spaces are beautiful, but we hope that our citizens will use some practical advice and just, as you've heard the advice from this press conference, just use measures of common sense when you come into our parks. I am happy to report that 2 of our facilities, as our emergency manager just mentioned, are going to be designated as cooling centers. And although this information is available on the various websites and social media sites for purposes of today's press conference, I'd like to at least let the citizens know that our landmark community center, which is located at 100 Louisiana Street in Missouri City, is going to be a cooling center for the next several weeks on Sundays from noon to 6 p.m. And we're also going to have it available for the 4th of July. So as you are making preparation for this upcoming 4th of July holiday, if it gets a little bit too hot in the backyard, go over to the Landmark Community Center and get some respite and cool air and get out of harm's way. We additionally have our Four Corners Community Center, which is located at 15710 Old Richmond Road. It is also available for the next several weeks on Sundays from noon to 6 p.m. and it too will be available on the 4th of July. So we don't want our citizens to get afraid, but we want you to use common sense when you come into our park spaces. Fort Bend County has beautiful parks. We want you to enjoy them, but please seek shade. We do have pavilions, we have shade structures. Please be hydrated. We do have splash pads, so please use them safely and enjoy yourselves this summer. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, thank you. And of course, when you talk about cooling centers, one of our integral part of our cooling centers is our library system. And we actually, I always say this, my library, my feeling about library is a place where community come together. And so we do have a vibrant and absolutely wonderful library system, beautiful buildings out there, and we will be using many of them as cooling centers next maybe a few weeks. And so I will invite Sandy Johnson to come forward and talk a little bit about what is happening with the library system, what citizens should know during these trying times. Come forward.
Thank you, Judge. Hi, I'm Sandy Johnson with the Fort Bend County Library System. Fort Bend County Libraries invites the community to visit one of our many open locations that are located throughout the county. The hours vary by location, so we are asking you to visit our website at www.fortbend.lib.tx.us, or you can call the library at 281-633-4734 to confirm the library's hours and locations. Most of the locations are open until 6 p.m., with some of them staying open until 9 p.m. All of our locations have drinking fountains that are available for you to stay hydrated, because we've talked about the importance of staying hydrated. And the libraries also offer programs throughout the day, so you can visit our website to find out any wonderful programs that you can come and do for free. Some of these programs include story times for our youth, and we even offer adult programs like computer classes. Or if you just want to come in, you can grab a book. We've got magazines, we've got newspapers. You could just come in, find a quiet spot to read, and enjoy the cool air. We also offer free Wi-Fi services at all of our locations, so you feel free to come in, bring your devices. You can bring your charger and charge your devices and get them charged up so you can stay up to date with all this heat. We also offer computers that are free of use for anyone that wants to come in and reserve a computer. Our youth department also has learning computers that are specifically for children. They also have toys, puzzles, and other fun activities. Please be aware that our Bob Lutz Pulcher-Simonton branch is permanently closed, and that our Albert George Branch Library in Needville will be closed June 29th through July 4th for minor renovations. All of our libraries are closed on Sundays, and we will be closed on Tuesday, July 4th for Independence Day. I do want to remind everyone that a library card is not required to come visit our libraries, and you don't even need a library card to attend any of our programs or events. But if you do want a library card, they are free to all Texas residents. So if you know someone that could benefit from one of these cooling centers, please encourage them to come to one of the libraries. If you do not have transportation to get to the library, you can call the Fort Bend Transit. Their phone number is 281-633-7433. Again, you can visit the library's website at fortbend.lib.tx.us, or you can call us at the library at 281-633-4734 to verify locations and hours. Thank you.
Thank you. And we heard many times people were mentioning about July 4th is right around the corner. And we celebrate, we are Americans, we enjoy our freedom, we enjoy our surroundings, and so we celebrate with a lot of firecrackers and things of that nature. It is getting really dry out there, so I'm sure our Fire Marshal, Justin Jurek, have some word of advice for our citizens. Justin?
Good morning. I'm Justin Urick, Fort Bend County Fire Marshal. And let me start by saying I'm honored to be a part of this team of everybody that we have up here to provide the service as we serve our community, our citizens here at Fort Bend County, providing about water safety, heat safety, and all the safeties that are like for this season of this drought that we're coming upon. A year ago this time, we're looking at a severe drought, a little more than where we are right now, burn bans and things like that were in effect. Currently, the Fort Bend County is currently not underneath a burn ban. We are watching the drought index very carefully. As of yesterday, our average was around 525, with those increasing a little bit daily as we are not having rain to help lower those items. The current situation is we are not looking at a burn ban currently, but it is a possibility that it could be coming in the near weeks or so to come, and we'll keep that up and monitoring that to ensure we make proper notification to all citizens of Fort Bend County. The big questions right now, as everybody said, is July 4th. Where we stand, what's going on. July 4th, everybody pops fireworks. We have events that are being hosted that are being done by licensed pyrotechnics in different areas. We'll be posting these different locations on our website and our social media sites, so please follow those. Fort Bend County Fire Marshal social media, as well as I believe the OEM will be posting them as well on their sites. And we strongly encourage people to attend these licensed shows. A few safety tips for fireworks. Know your local ordinances and where you are. Reason being is that in Fort Bend County, in the unincorporated areas, it is allowed to pop fireworks. But if you are in different areas such as cities and whatnot, they may have rules that do not allow this. Only shoot or light fireworks on a smooth, flat surface away from a house, dry leaves, and other vegetation and flammable materials. As we're entering these drought conditions and these drought conditions come up, the vegetation is drying, and there could be fires that are created by your fireworks just from the sparks and things like that could be occurring. So be careful as you're popping fireworks. Always have water readily available so when you have your area, once you're done, to properly soak everything. Once you're done with fireworks, if you are to pop them, please soak them in water for at least 12 hours to make sure they're extinguished before you put them into a trash can or anything like that for disposal. And also know your local weather forecast. The dry conditions, as I expressed a while ago, do increase fire risk, and strong winds can cause and can create fires to spread more rapidly. So as Greg stated earlier about these small pop-up storms and things that are occurring, those breezes that come with those summer storms we have could cause a fire to spread very rapidly. If you do see a fire, we urge everybody to call 911 to get a response from local fire departments for that response. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Along with the county, we have a lot of public partners, and our NGOs and people, non-profit organizations in Fort Bend County help us to keep our citizens safe. And so when there is an emergency, they step up. One of our wonderful partner is Attack Poverty. Jenny Jones is representing Attack Poverty to say a few words how they are preparing.
Good morning, my name is Jenny Jones. I'm the Senior Director of Programs at Attack Poverty, and we are honored to be able to partner with the judge as well as the OEM to provide shelters at our various locations throughout Fort Bend County. And so our vision at Attack Poverty is to empower people to attack poverty in their life. And we do this by resourcing under-resourced communities through spiritual growth, education, revitalization, and basic needs. And that last one of basic needs is the main way in which we partner with the county, specifically with the OEM, especially during seasons like this with heat advisory and the heat indexes getting up to 115. And so that's why we will have 2 of our Fort Bend County locations, our Friends of North Richmond and our Friends of North Rosenberg locations, open to function as cooling centers, and to simply give people a place to cool down. And the addresses as well as directions for those locations will be on the OEM webpage, as well as on the Attack Poverty webpage, which is attackpoverty.org, and on our social media outlets as well. It's been my experience in the past that people tend to wait too long or too late, or when conditions are too dangerous before they go to somewhere like a cooling center. We saw this whenever we had the opposite problem and we opened as warming centers. We saw people waiting till almost it was dangerous for them before they came in. And so our encouragement at Attack Poverty is that our doors are open. Do not wait until it is too late. If you do not have access to AC, or you are experiencing homelessness or a power outage, come to one of our locations and cool down. We do not want anybody to be waiting until it's too late or they're in danger. So each of our locations will be open Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We'll be staffed by Attack Poverty staff to assist those in the community needing a place to cool off. And again, for addresses to our locations, you can go to our website or our social media, which is just simply at Attack Poverty. We will also have our locations available as needed throughout the summer. And like the libraries, we also have Wi-Fi, access to electricity to charge your devices, as well as open computer lab access if needed. Also, as Greg mentioned with the OEM, we will be partnering with the OEM as well as the United Way and Reliant throughout the summer, starting at the end of July through August and September, where we will also be distributing hurricane preparedness buckets throughout the county for those that, right now at the times when we are not in a disaster is the time that we need to start preparing for that. So we're going to be partnering alongside the OEM, Reliant, and United as well as Way to be distributing those buckets. But again, please take advantage of our locations and come and cool off over the next few days or even the next few weeks.
Thank you, Jenny. And you see a lot of people. Normally, we don't have this many people participating in a press conference. We are intentional about it because we wanted to show it to you. We all come together if in case any kind of emergency happen in Fort Bend County. And you don't see a lot of people here, which include our cities and Mud District, Lid District, you name it, Special District. And our Office of Emergency Management coordinate with each and every jurisdictions, because when it comes to emergency, we wanted to come together so that we could do a better job in protecting our citizens, their safety and security, and of course our animals and so on and so forth. And I just wanted to extend my gratitude to a lot of dedicated professionals, which include within the county and outside the county, who have been working tirelessly to ensure the well-being of our community. And I want our residents to know that we are committed to your safety and security and your well-being. We encourage everyone to stay informed, and we will continue to emphasize that. We encourage everyone to be informed and get the information from the right sources, which include Fort Bend County Office of Emergency Management and respective many departments, Fire Marshal and Fort Bend County Sheriff Department, and they will put out verifiable information. We put out right information so that you could make appropriate action to move forward safely. And stay connected with our social media. Greg actually mentioned about how you can sign up for emergency alert system, and we all are very much active on social media, all platforms, as we already heard from many of our directors and so on and so forth. And our office is actively engaged. KP George on Instagram, Office of Fort Bend County Judge KP George on Facebook, and also on Twitter. And we actually put our own information, and also we copy the information from the Office of Emergency Management. With that, we just wanted to say thank you for listening, thank you for being part of this conversation. In Fort Bend County, we care about our citizens. We will do everything possibly we can do to help and support our citizens. And you heard about animals and any kind of living being, and also our properties and assets. And so, but we need your help. We need you to do your part, and so that my message is always help us to help you. And also, don't neglect these advices you just heard. And if you do, and we have our sheriff right here, and of course you heard about fire marshal and environmental and so on and so forth, they will come and get you. And so, because I'm saying that not to threaten, but I just wanted to make sure they understand. We, as citizens, we all have a role to play. And especially when it comes to animals, we hear that all the time. We feel like, oh, they're outside and, leave them outside. But they are, and as you heard, they are more harder than human beings. So let's be together, make Fort Bend County continue to be a better place for our children and generations to come. If you have any questions at this point, I will entertain. Look like we did a good job. Thank you for coming, and thank you for being, everybody coming.
I'm just wondering, for the cooling centers, are pets allowed?
Okay, that's a question, Greg.
So at this point, no, pets are not allowed. Some in the parks area, there are availability in the parks to bring those pets, but not inside the cooling centers themselves.
Thank you.
And this concludes this press conference, and thank you.